Hello everyone, and today I got to see the new Peter Berg and Mark Wahlberg movie, the second one, and there's going to be a third one, which is based on the Boston bombings, happened like a year or two ago, whatever. This is the second of their films together, and this movie is called DeepWater Horizon, and I'll basically give you the plot and then what I think of it. What I personally thought of it overall, really. The plot is basically, like on this oil refinery in the Gulf of Mexico, the character Mark Wahlberg, basically, it explodes, and due to so much pressure built up inside of it, and it kind of implodes, and how everyone's trying to survive and help each other escape, and it said that 11 people died, and there's like over 200 people that were on this oil rig in the middle of the ocean and got fire and all this. That's basically the story here. This movie, this movie is freaking remarkable. It's all the hype you've been hearing is totally well deserved. Peter Berg, in my opinion, is an excellent filmmaker, in my opinion. He knows how to capture the essence of futile speed, the essence of the moment, and the real grit that's in the moment. And I think this may be his best film that he's made. It really is. And I've only seen like less than a handful of Peter Berg movies, really, and this is easily his best film. I'm not kidding you. This is a marvelous film. The performance by everyone in this movie is really great. Mark Wahlberg is probably his best performance, probably since his last Peter Berg Mark Wahlberg movie, which was in Lone Survivor here. And that's probably his best performance since that movie. A bunch of other great actors in this movie, like Dylan O'Brien, even though you won't see much of him in this movie, but he's really good as well. You also get to see Kate Hudson, who plays his wife back home, and she's usually in a comedy movie. In this movie, she's a really great emotional supporting role, bouncing off of him, and how she is that emotional comfort, the emotional center of him, and how she kind of results in hearing the feedback of what's going on. It may not be a great comparison, but whenever the movie comes back to her character, I always felt like it was like, remember in 2014's Godzilla and Elizabeth Olsen's character? It kind of felt that same emotional counterweight. Like, whenever we got back to her, we got to see her being so overwhelmed and so much in grief and shock and saddened by this event, and she doesn't know everything. For all she knows, her husband could be dead. Which I'm not gonna spoil. Okay, he doesn't die. I'll only say that. Fuck, I think I gave the whole thing away now. Bugger. I'm sorry. But, this movie is just beautiful. Also, you get to see, and she gives a great performance. Kurt Russell is great, even if he looked a bit stereotypical, like a tennis, even though in my view, he kind of looked obviously a bit southern. He's like, when I saw his haircut and his mustache, I'm like, yeah, he looks like a redneck. And he kind of is, but he gives an excellent performance. And also, John Malkovich gives a really odd but good performance in this movie. I really liked him. All the people who played the CEO characters and everyone who played the oil engineers and everyone else. Everyone did an excellent job. I was so enticed. I was so engaged within this movie, and I was so engaged by it. And by the point when the shit hits the fan, when everything goes crazy and all that, it's some of the most powerful, awe-inspiring, and breathtaking action I've seen all year. The way it's shot, the CG at points, to the practicality, to the performances, is so meticulous. It's so well done, and for me, it's very unforgettable. It's like if not the best disaster movie, probably since Titanic, and that's really not saying much for the record. They're usually crap movies, but this is an exceptional one. And there's so much good I can say about this movie. The effects are really great. Whenever it goes to CG, it looks interesting. It looks commendable. It's like, I can see why they would do CG, like if it's underwater, way deep, and it says like 3 miles underneath water level. And it's like, okay, I can see why they would do that CG. And in the pipes, when you see all the gears turning on the oil and the water rising, that's so captivating. And I've seen how everything kind of has this domino effect. When something goes wrong, everything afterwards just goes out of spiral. Like, one thing happens, another thing. Over the problems with the engines and mechanics and all this type of stuff. And you really just get the feeling, and it very much since the beginning, you get to see what was the main problem. And that is where I believe it was where they were drilling, because there was like bubbles or air underneath the water. I completely forget why. Probably due to my own ignorance. That's not the regardless of that, but still so really good. And I love how this movie has a great feeling of an all-incoming sense of dread. In the beginning, you get to see him and his wife and his daughter, and her daughter has like this school project where she kind of demonstrates what her father is doing, and she uses a Coke can and like a steel pipe, I believe a smaller one, jams it in and puts some honey in there, and it's like, psh, and I'm like, that's kind of like how this movie goes through. I'm like, that was quite creative, and a sense of dread, and a sense of that long-going feeling like, that's the same fate that's gonna happen to them, without being too annoying or pretentious, was really done well, in my opinion. And I thought was a very good thing. I like that. It had that good sense of dread and omniscience to it. Like, oh boy, this is what's going to happen. And it didn't really feel like it was happening through your head. It felt like it was a bit subtle, in my opinion. I like that. Again, the action is so spectacular. Everything just feels so much of the moment, and so visceral, and so like unpredictable. Like, you don't know who or what will die. Even though I kind of knew from the very beginning that I knew Mark Wahlberg's character wouldn't. And like I said at the beginning of this video, I kind of gave that away. I'm so sorry. If you already saw this movie, then okay. But if you're watching my review and you're like, I haven't seen the movie, then I'm sorry I spoiled it for you. I feel like crap. I love this movie. I really do. It's one of the most stand-up movies of the year, in my opinion. However, you had to ask me, is there any flaws with this movie? Well, I have two. My first, and that's my only really big complaint, is that I do feel like how it started, I won't say how it started, but like the point of, there's a film like building up towards it, and we're gonna develop the characters. And while I thought that was great, and I liked all these characters like John Malkovich and Kurt Russell and Mark Wahlberg, and on this, I forgot her name. It's gonna be very insensitive, but Hispanic lady or the Mexican lady he was with, I loved her. I thought she was awesome. I personally think they could have utilized her. I personally think they could have utilized her more in the beginning, but you can do what you get. But I do feel like by the 45-minute mark, that's when the disaster happens. The 50-minute mark. And this is a movie that's an hour and 40 minutes. So you only kind of get like 40-50 minutes of really the meat and potatoes of the movie. But the pace towards that point, when everything goes all haywire, the pacing towards it is good, and you really do love and start to, in my view, you really did get a good essence of starting to love and get these characters, and you were kind of like, and I was like, yeah, I like these characters, they were cool. But I will say it kind of did feel a bit dragging on, and by the times there's like meetings and talking with each other, I'm kind of like, so when are we going to see some action, please? And whenever it cuts back towards whatever was going wrong with the pipes, and I'm like, and it kind of just fakes me out. I'm like, you son of a bitch. You bastard. I'm like, come on. You couldn't have done that. Yeah, so regardless of that, that was a bit of a tease, admittedly. That was at least my big problem. I felt like there was too much build-up. By like a 45 minute point, I'm like, where in the hell is the action? And I'm like, yeah, I know, develop the characters, but it's like, it kind of felt like it really was just dragging out those points. And also, I really do love how these characters get to breathe, and there's just some really cool natural scenes. Like I was saying before, like, you know, the pacing was a bit different issue in the second act. Well, at least the build up towards the second act. But, you know, the characters were really great. I loved them. They were so cool. They were so fascinating. And John Malkovich is a real a-hole of a CEO type of character, and it's like, wow. Like, seeing what happens to these characters is quite remarkable. And kind of like in No Survivor, there's a couple more where you do that kind of just actually, no, never mind. I would have said, you know, suspend your disbelief, but like this film where it kind of took a bit too far, I thought this film kept it real. Like, whenever characters got knocked back, they felt that winded, or when glass shatters, or we're gonna get shockwave or anything like that, they felt it and they were like, oh. Or it's like in No Survivor, characters get shot and it's like, I'm still alive. I'm like, come on, no, you're not. You're dead. Just sit down. But regardless, so yeah, that's my only issue with the film: the pacing towards the build-up and what's so good about this movie. This feels too much of a drag. And that's my only real criticism with this movie. Aside from that, it's one of my favorites of the year. If not the top tier, like top 2 or 3. I fucking love this film. I will openly say, I fucking loved this film. It was, for me, one of the biggest stunts of the year. And I give it a 94% everyone. That's my rating for this movie. I really do hope you enjoy my review of DeepWater Horizon. It's one of my favorites of the year so far. And yeah, till then, everyone, I'll see. Oh, by the way, the ending, very, very good. There's a moment in the movie where the character Mark Wahlberg just sits and lets everything sink in, and he reflects on who he saved. But then again, he's kind of like, you know, for every person I saved, there's a person I didn't save. I mean, that kind of brings the natural essence of, like, war or natural disasters. It's like, as hard as you may try, as many people as you may save, there's an essence you haven't saved someone. And the fact that you may feel responsible, granted you weren't responsible for their death, but the fact that you could help them, this adds so much tragedy and pressure to him. And there's a moment where he's in a hotel and he just breaks down in tears. It's like, goddamn, what a fantastic performance. And it really does make you feel like all this shit that's behind him at that point has just crashed on him like a wave. And he's just having a real emotional moment. In a way, as he meets with his wife, it's like, I'm almost at tears, man. It's really beautiful. Mark Wahlberg gives his best performance since The Lone Survivor. In my opinion, Peter Berg's best film thus far. And in the end, yeah, DeepWater Horizon, check it out. I highly recommend it. I cannot praise it to you. I personally cannot praise it enough in my eyes. It's one of the best films of the year. Also, I want to say this. I will say this is another negative. I know I keep doing this, but it's like, the fuck. Whenever you're watching a movie and you see what's going on and what's going wrong and all these CEO companies like, in between and all, by the end of this film, I'm kind of like, I get the feeling of, I know what's somewhat going on, but there's something there that I don't know. There's always something I'm kind of like, oh, I feel like there's always something there's a piece of it that I'm missing. by the end of it, I'm like, I still feel like I haven't gotten a grasp on everything. And, it makes me feel like, should I come back to this movie? Is there replayability to it? Excuse me. Is there a factor of me wanting to go back and research this movie more or watch it more because, I want to explore it more? I'm so fascinated by the story. It's so interesting. It's so fascinating. It's so cool. There's a part of me that says, I want to go back and see this because I just gotta find out more. I gotta find out more. And that's what a film should do. It shouldn't always give you the answers, but it should let you ponder on it should let you sit and ponder on those questions left unsolved that actually matter to the film overall, instead of having loose connections like so. And yet it keeps you coming back, giving the film more replayability, even when it's so heavy, powerful, and emotional, making it a perfect balance of both action and adventure, but also drama and excellent characters. Probably from the exception of John Malkovich, because he is a bit of a dick, but he kind of learns what he gets and gets his justice. But in the end, yeah, DeepWater Horizon, one of my top tier favorites of the year so far. And that's the thing I notice right now, is like every movie I'll always say, that is one of my favorites of the year, I always find a bit of a problem with. But regardless, this review has gone on for far too long at this point. But in the end, DeepWater Horizon, can't recommend it enough. I love this film. My only problem is the beginning pacing towards the film. And that's my only real complaint. And in the end, DeepWater Horizon, in my opinion, it could be a modern disaster film masterpiece. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but it should be a classic right now. Just an instant classic. I love this film. And I guarantee by the end of this year, when I make my top 10 film movies of the year, you will see this on this list. However, the big question is, will it be my top 5 or 3? You have to know till then to realize it. But until then, everyone, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the future for more videos as always. Till then, I'm out. Peace. Bye, everyone.